record. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Full Sail, first of all, and to your first class. You guys are in creative presentation, and a lot of people are probably like, what the heck is that? Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're also going to get you guys acclimated to our system. If you couldn't join us tonight, feel free to join in with the participation things. You can add your answers wherever you're watching this. This is going to be posted on YouTube, or you can do it in the activity in class in the 1.1 activity, just so you can participate as well. So everybody that's in here tonight, we've got, there's 19 people in the room so far, and right now we've got this little word scramble. I'd love to see what what were the first three words that you saw. So if you just pop them in the chat box, it'll give us a great opportunity to make sure you guys can find it. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be silly. It can be related. It can be whatever. But it's just kind of a little prediction there going on. If you're watching the recording, unfortunately, you can't see the chat box. So anytime that I see something that we want to share and get on the recording, I'll be sure to read it out to you. But unfortunately, you're just seeing these visuals and hearing my voice. But we're going to go ahead and get in. We've got some great ones coming. We've got change, passion, hope, rock, foam. I like foam. That sounds fun. Experience, family, success, balance, alpha. Nice alpha female there with Nicole. Passion, family, popularity. So there's a lot of good words in there, and I hope. Hey, there we go. So I hope that a lot of these things come true for you guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change the graphics for you. What I wanted to kind of explain to you is we are a combined group of students. Right now, I'm in charge of 3 sections, and each of you are in a particular section. So you will see and interact with a certain group of students just in your section. This is who you'll be involved with on the discussion boards, and having that interaction there electronically. But in this class, we bring more of you together because we want you guys to have the opportunity to meet other people besides just the ones that you're grouped with. So this is a wonderful way to get to know each other. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves in the chat box. The chat box that I was talking about, where you're typing your message, if you look underneath there, it says to, and then it defaults to all entire audience. If you want to send a private message, maybe to me, you have a question you don't really want to ask in front of everybody, you can pick organizer. Or if you guys want to talk among yourselves, if you choose someone from the drop-down list, then that's a private message. It changes colors, and you have to change it back to all entire audience. So just letting you guys know about that. And again, that part is not recorded. I can only see the things that are private to me. So you guys feel free to talk among yourselves when you want to. Okay. So just kind of letting you know how that works. All right. So we will be here 4 times. I meet every Tuesday night. We're going to be meeting at, it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but that's, of course, 7 Central. And if you guys can't make the live sessions, that's okay. It's the beauty of online learning. And again, I will be posting, the recordings go in 2 places. They go in the first activity of each week, and then I also send a in-class message to everybody with those jump to links. So feel free to watch it as many times as you want, and of course, ask questions all the time. I'm here to get to know you guys and here to guide you through it. I go by Mrs. Wilson. My name is Suzanne Wilson. I really answer to anything, but most people just say, hey, Mrs. Wilson. So whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm comfortable with. So that's a picture of me. I have a second job, my fun job. I work at a country bar here in Orlando, and I'm a line dance instructor. So this is kind of my fun. So I have a little cowboy hat there on my shirt, but that's my second job. So I just teach all the time. I think I must be bossy or like to talk or something. So anyway, if you guys are ever interested in dancing, let me know. And who am I? What am I? Who is this lady, and why is she qualified to be our teacher? And excellent question, Christopher. I did not go to school for line dancing. It was more of an experience thing, but I definitely have gone to school to teach here at Full Sail. I am from Alabama. Alabama. I have a degree in advertising and communication, bachelor's from Alabama. And then I came to school at Full Sail when the logo was like this. It's been quite a while. There were only two degree programs back then. It was the recording arts, and then it was I was in the second class of graphic design. So I'm kind of a visual kind of girl, graphics. I love that kind of stuff. And then I actually got my master's. Oh, I think maybe 3 years ago now, and I got that here at Full Sail in instructional design. So I definitely have got some paper work behind me, and I hope that I will be able to spread the knowledge to you guys. My favorite country artist, I guess that would have to be Jason Aldean right now because he's hot. So Brooks and Dunn, they broke up, so that's kind of old Christopher Gaines anyway. But I think Christopher Gaines is like the alter ego of Garth Brooks. So I think that when I saw your name, Christopher, I went, "Oh my gosh, Garth Brooks is in my class." Yeah, it didn't work out to him. I'm sure it worked out better for you, Chris Gaines there. So anyway, so fun, fun, fun. All right, so what did I do? You will find as you go through your classes here that a lot of the instructors here, they actually have multiple jobs, or maybe they have worked. A lot of us have worked in the industry, and I actually did. I went when I graduated from Full Sail the first time. I went out into the music industry, and I developed a art department for a music promotion company. And this is a company that's still in business. They work with record labels and promotionals, and they do music videos and music. And it's just a really cool thing. I worked there for 13 years. And then everything was kind of going digital, and I kind of felt like I was getting left behind. I said, I got to keep up with the industry. You guys know how hard that is. So that's what kind of led me back to Full Sail, because it was a great way for me to get back up, and then also being able to share this. So I do have some experience out in the industry with music promotion. So I'd love to talk to you guys if there's any DJs in the house. I know we have a lot of people that like to do recording arts and make music, and that's really cool. Oh, Nicole's a DJ also. That's awesome. Power, woman power. I love that. All right. So anyway, and also I like to give you guys a little bit about me. They're not here with me tonight, so they won't be talking. But every once in a while, these are my babies. I don't have any two-legged children, but I have two four-legged children. That's Max and that's Lucy, the flying squirrel. There, she gets going and gets off the ground. But sometimes they talk to us, and so hopefully not. They're not here tonight, so we'll be fine. But that's Max and Lucy. So does anybody else out there have a family? If you want to put in there, if you got a son, daughter, kids, no kids, pets, dogs, what's going on with you guys out there? So use that chat box. Let me hear from you. Who's out there? Okay, so we're working on a kid, a godfather, a dog father, and two cats. That's really exciting. Oh, Michelle had a baby girl. That's really awesome. And we have a son and a fiance with a dog, two monster kitties. Oh my goodness. So you guys will have to make messages in the class and share some pictures with us. That would be really fun to see your babies. All right, awesome. All right, we'll keep going. We do have this question a lot. They're like, well, where are you? I haven't, a lot of people have not, some people have been to the campus and some people have not been to the campus. Can you guys give me a yes or a no? Have you been to the campus? To the actual Full Sail campus. So most of the online students haven't had the opportunity yet, but if you ever do get to come, this is where I am. I'm in building 4, and this is just a really cool image. It was done by one of my former students, and they used Photoshop and After Effects, and I thought they did a wonderful job. It really looks like this, and inside it, if you guys have ever been in an IKEA store, it's kind of like that. So it's pretty neat. It's very environmental friendly, and anyway, this is one of the buildings on campus. So this is where I am for 3 days out of the week, and then 2 days out of the week we actually work from our home offices, so we guys can be here with you guys at night, not have to be on campus. So this is where we are. If you guys ever come to campus, make sure you look us up. So how do you get a hold of me? You're like, well, I don't have the same hours as you do, same time zone, those kind of things. I'm definitely available to talk to you guys on the phone, or we could talk through the computer, but it's really better to message me first and us schedule one that I know that we can both have have dedicated time. I hate it when you guys call like the campus number and it might be a day I'm not there and then your voicemail just sits at my desk. So I don't mind connecting with you guys and we can call and text if you want to do that. So please try not to just leave messages at the school line. Please try to message me and I will definitely, we will get together. And I'm real flexible because I'm a night owl and sometimes I'm in the morning, sometimes at night. So just connect with me, okay? That you guys can message me in the class area. It's not hard. If you haven't done it, please make sure you do that, okay? So all you have to do is just you can go to the people area that's in the pop-out window, or you can click up at the top right on the speech bubble and do new message and then pick me and send me a message. And those are just private messages between you and I. If you want to send one to the whole class, you got to do it from the people page. So just kind of, you guys have to play around with that. But please, definitely don't hesitate to ask any question, or any question's a good question. You also want to pay attention to those little orange dots that are up at the top right. If you have orange dots, that means that you have a message, you might have some feedback, there might be an announcement, there might be something that you haven't read yet. So make sure that you at least click on them, read them, and that'll make those orange dots go away. And then make sure you're not missing anything, okay? So make sure you're paying attention to that. It's a great way that we connect. You also want to make sure that now, depending on if you're on a phone or a tablet, the pop-out menu to the left might not always be showing. So that's the way that you navigate around. You guys should have practiced that in orientation, but don't forget, it's that little, I call it the hamburger icon, little hamburger menu up there. So that pops out, and this is the way that you can find people, you can get to your activities, all those kind of things. So make sure that if you're looking for stuff, you're using that area. We do have announcements sometimes. I like to just kind of message you guys most of the time. I've been doing that, but you might see the announcements in there, and that would be how you could get to those as well. I encourage you guys to manage your accounts. If you haven't gotten your picture up there yet, like you can see my picture there, once you add a picture, it'll change from that Mr. Shadowhead. But you do have a place in here where you can add a bio. And the biggest thing is to set your notifications, especially if you don't plan on being in the course area, multiple times a day, and you might have like put your email on your phone, and then anytime that you get a grade or anytime that you get feedback or a message from me, then you'll be notified. You also want to make sure that you set your time zone in there, and that's going to help you with knowing when things are due. Yours might look a little bit different than mine. I have more choices than you guys do, but definitely manage that account. I also want to encourage you guys to add a picture. Right now, everyone is Mr. Shadowhead that hasn't done that yet, but this is a different picture than the Connect website. I know you guys are familiar with Connect. That's where you get your schedules and you can access the classes and all these great information about our school, but that's more of the social area of our school. And so they're a little bit more lenient. In this area, they want you to be a little bit more professional. You want it to be, not a cartoon. It can't be black and white. We don't need to have sunglasses on. It should be just a headshot. If you're having problems with it not getting approved, it could be because the file size is too large. So if you try and it gets rejected or it just never gets approved, send me a message, attach the picture to it, send it to me, and I'll help you with that, because I know you guys might not have that ability yet, and I want to make sure you have the opportunity to get your picture up there, okay? So would love to see you guys. All right, so also want to bring to your attention, there's a lot of students that start Full Sail, and you guys don't have your computers yet. That comes a little bit later, but a lot of students are using cell phones, smartphones, tablets, and things like that. So if you are using those, please try to access our classes when you're on Wi-Fi, because I don't want it to eat up all your data, right? So always check to see if you can get Wi-Fi. There's free Wi-Fi, in some restaurants and stuff like that. So make sure on that. And then you also have access to this OneDrive. If you're not familiar with that, get familiar with it. You can do your work on OneDrive. It's got apps in there for like Microsoft Word and all these things. Our it can really help you. help with that. All right, so let's keep it going. I'm getting a little audio feedback. So if you're in a busy area, you might want to mute yourself. If I do mute you, please don't take it personally. I just got to get a really good recording. It did kind of sound like a hurricane, didn't it, Jeffrey? All right, so check that out if that applies to you guys, okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to find out who is here and where you're from. So you guys, let's take a few minutes and just pop it into the box. Where are you guys from? Okay, we got New York in the house. Let's see. Hang on to that question that just came through. We got Atlanta. Ooh, got a couple Texas, Nashville, Ohio, Austin, Texas again, South Dakota, outside Trenton. I believe that's New Jersey, right? Or is that right? Cincinnati, Ohio. Oh, wait, Jessica is from Nevada. Oh, she's going to lose service. So, Jessica, thanks for joining us. And we'll find the recording and then keep staying connected with me. We got West Virginia in the house. We got someone from Katy, Texas, Massachusetts. Oh my goodness, we're just from all over. Oh, Wesley, fabulous. Maybe Wesley has a southern accent, maybe, but is living in New Hampshire now, and Jersey in the house. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing that. If you're watching the recording, we'd love to hear from that. Every once in a while, we do get some international students. I think the farthest I've ever had anybody, they were in Tokyo. But that was crazy. They had to really get up in the middle of the night to join us. So awesome. So you guys have a little bit in common there. You guys can kind of pay attention to the names that are popping up. Now, I want to make sure everybody knows what their time zone is. So I know it seems like that everyone should know, but everybody just make sure you know, and please type in here, what's your time zone? Are you Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern? What are you? So we've got a lot that are already here that are Eastern. Oh, Arizona does have its own. So I'm not sure how to help you with that one. You want to make sure whatever time it is that you're adjusting to the Eastern time zone. Because what happens, guys, is our online system, they set it's on a computer, so we can only do one time zone. So when one day is finished, it has to be at midnight. So the campus students also use this portal. So when things are due, it has to be on the campus time. So just make sure that you do that. Alan, that's cool. He says his laptop corrects the times. If you set it in the course area, I know it'll at least tell you like how many days, hours you have till something's due until you guys get used to it. So just make sure you're doing that, because once a assignment is finishes, boom, it gets late. We'll talk about that a little bit. So where do you check that? I think it is in your profile area. I thought it was at the top of your course area too. I don't know if you guys can help Chris with that. If it's not at the top of your activity list, it is in your profile area. If you can't find it, let us know. I don't have mine because I don't need it because I'm on this time zone. So anyway, all right. So let us know if you can't find it, Chris. All right. So now let's find out why we're here. What is your degree program? You guys pop that in the box. Let's start paying attention to where you guys are from. So we got some audio. Chris is in audio. Stephanie's in game design, film, audio production, internet marketing, game design, audio production. Cool. Trevor's in game design as well. Everyone's trying to type. Got frogs going or something. I don't know what's going on there. Game design, music production. Okay. Film. All right, so you guys kind of paying attention to what you're going to be interacting with. For the first, I believe, 3 classes, you guys are mixed together. It's a great opportunity to meet people and with different interests as you, and going into similar but different. I mean, it's all the entertainment industry, but different avenues and different things that you guys will be focused on. But once you get to that introductory class, then you're really going to start dividing you guys off. So what we're going to try to help you guys do, William says, thought they put them in the wrong field. Like, who are all these people? I don't blame you at all. So Networking. This is one of the coolest features of Full Sail. You are in a school that is for the entertainment industry, and there's so many different aspects of it. It's a really special school just because of the people that have chosen to get their education here and the people that work here. So, networking is a huge benefit, but it's something that you have to put a little effort into it, and especially online students. There's lots of opportunities for you guys to connect with all these, activities they have for you, and seminars and stuff where you're in situations like this where you can connect with people. But you're also going to have that opportunity on your discussion boards and in here. So you can definitely network with me for sure. Um, I do want to know, why do you think that it would be a benefit or be important to network with not just people that are studying the same thing as you are? So, for example, and Chris, I'm going to pick on you because your microphone is already on. So, Chris, you said that you were in audio. Why do you think that it might be important for you to interact with someone who is in maybe game design or internet marketing? Why would that be a benefit for you?
It would be behooving to me, mainly because it's all intertwined. Me as a hip hop artist, I am already 10 steps ahead thinking, okay, somebody's in film. I definitely need a music video, or, game designs. You might want to link up and say, hey, I can throw my song on your video game, or, like you said earlier, it all intertwines. So you never want to you're really just hindering your own progress if you only stick to your program.
Exactly. That's an excellent explanation of that. You also want to think those people are also watching. So if you're getting to know people in these classes, and you're just a really, you put a lot of effort into it and you participate all the time, you're gonna get known for doing that. And people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember Chris, or I remember Joshua, or I remember Alan. They were always this or that or whatever. And so if there's an opportunity that was to come up, then they might remember you or think with you, especially if you guys have connected on social media or email or whatever, however you do once you start splitting up. So we're going to give you guys plenty of time to connect at the end of the class and exchange information and stuff like that. But you would be really, I mean, you might not even be surprised, but I was a little surprised. There are so many student groups that they, instead of going out and getting trying to get employed after they graduate, I see people get together and start their own companies and be very successful. So it's a you just have so many opportunities. We want to make sure that you guys take advantage of not just what you're learning here, but who you're interacting with, and it's going to give you practice for interacting with people in those industries. So if you do get the opportunity to go interview at a game design, even though you're in audio, you're going to know how to work with game design people, because you're going to have lots of friends that are,
Well,
into that stuff.
my goal is to actually use my audio engineer, like like the stuff I learned here, to actually try and get on with video, like to help produce the sound for video games, and get on with like Funimation and all these voice actors.
Right. So you have, and they're going to want to be recorded too. So this is definitely the place to do it. All right. So I'm going to keep on moving because we've got a lot of things to get to, and I'm glad you guys are thinking about your goals. Thanks for sharing that, Alan. Alan wants to make his own record label, so I think that's awesome, and we can help you with that when you're doing your presentation this month. So we'll definitely talk about that. But I got a lot of things I want to get to. I'm just going to kind of touch on some of these things. Learning differences. Most really creative people have learning. We all learn a little bit different. I know I'm a big visual learner, but if you have a specific learning difference that you know about, maybe this is something that you have conquered, or you have, you maybe need some assistance with, please don't be embarrassed about it. We have a success LMS department here that you can register with. It allows you to get kind of this blanket letter that you can send to your teachers, and it allows us to work with you, maybe give you additional time on certain projects because of the challenges that you face. So please don't be embarrassed about it. If you want information about it, let me know. If you've already registered with them and you haven't sent me your letter yet, please do so and we'll connect. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, we have to be professional. We are in college now. It's so important that we learn our professionalism. That's part of the education that you're getting here. It's so much that we actually give you activities that you should do. If you have not found it yet, it is in the very first section of activities. Please complete that as soon as possible. If you have completed it before you got to class, I have already given you some feedback. This is a great place to practice finding your feedback. But professionalism, this is how you are interacting with each other, how you're interacting with me, how you're interacting with people that you come into contact with at the school. So just keep it professional, right? We want to be encouraging and make this a positive learning environment. So, we're very fortunate to be able to have that. And I want that. I don't want any, no bullying here, none of that. We're all adults and we're all here to grow together. Now, we are in college, and I do expect everyone to use capital I's. I expect you to spell out the word Y-O-U. I know it's easy to get into the text spelling, and we go really fast. In here, it's okay. I'm okay with not everything being spelled right, and we're typing fast, and we're just interacting with each other. But like on the discussion boards and in your assignments, please make sure that you are using spell check. You're starting every sentence with a capital letter. You're using punctuation. If you've got lots of ideas, you might want to split those out into different paragraphs. So just the basic, this is college. And so we want to put forth our best foot forward and get in the practice of doing that. We do not require AP style. We get that question a lot. Not for this class. You may hit that in English when you get there. But for this class, it's a little bit more relaxed. When we refer to sources, we can just reference them in our speech or maybe just have lists of where our sources come from. But we'll go over that. But AP style is not required for this class. Now, I want to talk about the class structure with you guys for a little bit. How does our class work? How is it structured? And I've got some great news for you guys. No tests. Isn't that wonderful? Everybody give me a big woohoo. Woohoo. All right, there we go.
Woo-hoo.
Awesome. All right. So, but there is a little bit of bad news. And the bad news, I'm afraid, is there is no extra credit. So come on, pay attention the first time.
Yeah.
So no extra credit. So afraid if you really screw up on something, just keep moving forward. I'm going to explain to you how our grades work on percentage basis. So even if you mess up on something, just keep moving forward. Try not to get too OCD about, being perfect. You're here to get the knowledge, and that is what we're all about. We will have assignments, we will have projects, and we will have discussion. So those are the main three things that we're going to be working on. We also have, these are what are considered our lectures. So, even if you were on campus, you would be having a lecture and then doing some of your work on your own time. So we try to mirror it as best as we can. Each week I will be talking about each assignments. We will talk about some subject matter. It's a great place to come and interact with each other and ask questions. So hopefully you guys can attend as many as possible. In online learning, we do not take attendance. A lot of people say, well, is it required for me to watch these recordings? And I would say for your grade in this class, it's not required. I would say to get the best experience and for your education, it would be required. Because if you don't understand fully the way we've designed these projects, then you don't get the maximum benefit from them. So that's kind of how I address attendance. You are going to have activity blocks. You guys should have already seen this area. You should have been able to access it. And I want you to notice that what we're doing is we're opening up all of the information is open right now. And if you want to look ahead to kind of see what's coming, and especially like if you are, if you're going to have to be out of town, or there's something that's going to keep, you're going to need to work ahead, or just to adjust your schedule, we want to be flexible for you for that. Excuse me. But please notice that each section has its own due time. So the first two there, those are due this week. And so the next one, see how the due dates are pushed out to the month. So don't feel like you have to do everything at one time, but they are open if you want to look ahead. Now, our deadlines are at 12 o'clock midnight when it goes from 11:59 p.m. to 12 a.m. That is when, on the day that it's due, that is when it's due. And although it may let you submit it late, on some of the activities, some of the discussion boards you cannot post. So don't try to push it. Try to get your stuff done early on Sundays or whatever the due date is, so you don't run into time zone issues. If you turn something, if it does allow you to upload a file, it may have a late mark on it, and there are late point penalties that we're required to take off the top of your grade. So really pay attention. Your deadlines are midnight Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in Central, you got to have everything in before the clock hits 11, and it kind of backs up from there. Okay. If you have any kind of issues with work or schedules like that, connect with me ASAP so I can work with you, or we can figure out how you can turn your stuff in before you go to work. Okay. Let's keep moving. Grades. How do grades work in this class? This is also a big question I get. Well, we have percentages. So you'll see on each one of them, it will tell you a percentage weight. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to earn points that will accumulate. And then at the end of the month, you'll have however, that's what your grade's going to be, however many points you've accumulated. So for example, I'm going to take the 1.4. It's worth 15% of your overall course grade. So if you get 100 on it, you will have earned 15 points towards your final course grade. If you get a 90 on it, you'll earn 13 and a half. So it kind of goes like that. So whatever your score is, you do it times the percentage weight, and then it'll add it up for you. I believe there is a grade book that kind of predicts what you're going to get, and it will help you with that. If you have any questions about that, our tech support department can really explain it. It's a cool formula how it works. But just make sure you're paying attention to those percentage weights, but I want you to try to complete every activity. We also have rubric files, and rubrics are, as you can see there, we have one of these for every activity that is graded, that has a percentage grade, and this lets you know how you are evaluated. So we're both on the same page. You always want to try to fall into the exemplary column. So once you get your work done, you want to go through and compare, did I do this? Does it match with all these different dimensions? Am I in the exemplary column? And that's where you might fall if that's what you have accomplished. Now, if you go to look at your rubric files, these are located at the bottom of every activity. If you go to it and it looks like this, that is not a problem with the file. It's a problem with the plugin that you need. So you would need to go to get the Adobe Reader, and it's a free plugin. So if you go somewhere and it's asking for a credit card, definitely don't pay for it, because you're in the wrong spot. So you're just going to get the Adobe Reader, and then you'll be able to read everything. If you run into a problem, let me know. All right, you're also going to get feedback on every weighted assignment. I pretty much give it on every assignment, but you want to make sure that you read your feedback even if you get a perfect score, because sometimes our assignments build on each other, and if you don't address something, even though I might not have taken off your points for it, I might say, next time I'm gonna really buzz you on this one. So please make sure that you find your feedback. When you see a score, you need to revisit the activity, go all the way to the bottom, and you'll see my feedback. To give you guys some practice, find that professionalism activity that's in the first area, and you should see a 100. If you have, everybody starts with 100, and if you see that 100, scroll down and find that feedback. Really important. We also have some really important departments that I want to make sure that you guys know about, okay? So that is our tech support department. It is free to use. There's no limit. It will document whatever's happening, so it's kind of like proof that you were trying to get something in. Maybe it's 11:30 at night, and maybe I've already gone to bed, so you have called the tech support department, and so there'll be a record that you called and you didn't just go to bed and forget about it, right? So you guys can access them. There's a sheet I'll show you guys in just a second. It's easy to find them. They're on, you can go to Connect, just type in tech support. You'll see it. It's got all their information there. They also have a knowledge base that has like instructions on how to do lots of things. Like, how do I put my Full Sail email on my phone? Well, they have instructions in the knowledge base about that. So if you're one of those that likes to find the answers, you can definitely do that as well. You can also call them, email them, and they're open every single day of the week. Okay, so you guys are up when you're up until 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure that that you guys are using them. Let me know if you can't find them. There is in the about area of your class, where this is that little pop out window to the left. Their information is also in here, and this also has that. If you're having any kind of issue, we have a student support team, and the tech. This tells you what they help you support. Okay, so anything like trying to get your books, trying to get that OneDrive to work, trying to catch your email, trying to install software. These are things that they're going to be able to help you with, okay? They also support, the ebooks and all that kind of stuff. All right, so that is the tech support. You guys are also, this is something that's going to start happening probably next week. You're going to start hearing from an online student liaison. This is not anybody that wants anything from you. This is actually your cheerleaders. These are great people. There's teams that go with you through your whole degree program. I'm only going to be with you for the first 4 weeks, but this team, they know all about this class. They know all about your degree program, and they're great to talk to if you have any kind of questions. They're going to be reaching out to you, but this is a great relationship to get connected with, because if you ever, like, let's say you have a teacher, sometimes you just don't mold well with a teacher, and it happens. And let's say you don't feel comfortable and there's some kind of issue, then this would be a great person to connect with, this team, these OSL teams, and there's someone always available. So you guys, please don't avoid their emails or their phone calls. Okay, so just letting you know, they don't want anything. They are your cheerleaders. They're awesome. Okay. You guys also get free software, so you have access to Office 365. You also, there's like those apps on the phones if you're doing it on the phones or on your computer. So you guys we have full instructions it's in the very first assignment, 1.4. This is in there. You can just go find those instructions. And you guys also have free access to Lynda. If you've never heard of Lynda, this is a website that normally costs, I think it's up to like $450 a year to use, but you have free access as long as you're an active student. And excuse me, there are tutorials on software, on hard skills, on time management, on emotional intelligence, leadership, how to use Photoshop, how to use Microsoft Excel. There's just all sorts of things. And you can also get like certified in it, and then it can go on your LinkedIn page. So you guys check that out if you want to. And you can find that pretty easily on the Connect website as well. Just type the lynda.com in the search bar and you'll get it. I want you guys to also try new things. Everyone comes to this school and this class with pre-existing knowledge and what you're experienced with, and now is the time to start diving into it. If you've always used PowerPoint, well, then maybe you want to push yourself a little bit. These are some online things that you have that are free to use. And push yourself a little bit. Try something new. My new favorite software, if you haven't heard of it yet, please check it out. It's called Adobe Spark. You can just Google that and it will take you right there. It's free to use, and it you can make web pages with it. You can make really cool interactive documents that have nice images in them. You can also make videos. And one of the things that you're going to be doing in this class are making videos and recording your voice. And this is a great way to do it. So if you haven't checked it out, it's called Adobe Spark. Here's some other ones that I see from students: eMaze, Prezi, Powtoon. That's kind of like a cartoon one. But so if just really push yourself. Now, WeVideo is a fun one to do. But if you're not familiar with PowerPoint or Keynote, then this might be the time to learn those as well. But I really encourage you guys to push and try something new. Okay. Creative presentation. So what is this? Where are we? This is a class that we're asking you, just like this guy. I want you to take all those preconceived notions, all of those things that you learned in high school, where your teacher said, put your entire script on the screen and use 500 bullet points and put 72 pictures on each slide. Yeah, we're not doing that here. We are going to learn a new way to connect with our audiences, to resonate with our audience, and to be remembered. We're going to try to learn the best ways of convincing our audiences. And, you are in a creative industry. You've chosen to do this. So I hope that you will keep your mind open to the new techniques that you guys are learning about in Resonate. If you haven't started that yet, please get started on it. It's an awesome book, and we're going to learn how to tell our story. So we're going to have a good time getting to know each other, telling our stories, and trying to convince. We're also going to do some research about our degree program, so we make sure we're in the right place. And then just kind of, dream about what life is going to be like after graduation. So I'm going to help you guys and guide you through that. And it's going to be fun, 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 I promise. We are going to, you may have, if you've looked ahead at all, you're going to see that this month we are going to work on creating a video. We're going to be recording a video because, you guys are not here to do it in person. So you don't have to present in person, but you are going to be recording yourself. And you're going to be talking to a future employer. And we're going to try to help you guys pick one, or if it's like some of you said you wanted to start your own record label, we'll figure out the best way for you to do that. How are we going to help you accomplish that? Who would we need to try to convince to help you with that? And also, while we're talking about ourselves and the skills that we will have mastered as a result of our degree program. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really informative. You're going to do some research, which you're going to be interested in, and we're going to learn how to do that and assemble it all in a way that's very structured and memorable, and it's going to be a really cool thing. So keep your mind open. Don't get scared, but we're definitely going to talk about why we're here. Now, we do have two books for you. You may or may not have noticed they're both written by the same person. This is Nancy Duarte, is how you say her name, and she is a very skilled lady. She has her own company where she teaches speech communication, and she's got some great presentations that she's made. And she talks a lot about story. She talks about how, if you think about how our history got handed down from generation to generation before people could even read, when we had illiterate generations, how did, we know our history besides just the cave drawing and drawings? Well, people used to tell stories, and stories are easy to remember. It's kind of like, when you go to the movie and you're so excited and you have to tell somebody all about it, you can remember it because of the way it's structured. It's an interesting way of telling a story. It's not telling it in a timeline. I did this and then I did this and then I did this and then this happened. You kind of have a twists and turns, and you have things that cause each other, and you make your audience laugh or cry or connect with you or make them connect with them. So that's what we're going to try to learn to do this month. Now, Slideology is more about the visuals, and how you're going to, use our visuals to enhance our message, and where the visuals are actually for your audience and not for the person speaking. So we're going to learn a whole new way of doing that with Slideology. So I hope you guys will enjoy both of that. That's an interesting question. Chris wanted to know, have I ever had any students become teachers? I have not had any tell me yet, but now I've only been teaching about 5 years. So I think people are still just kind of out there. The most people I hear from are out in the industry and making their path, kind of like I did. And maybe that's something that they'll come back to. But you know what? Take that back. I did have a student. I'm sorry, he wanted to be a music teacher, and he did get a job as a music teacher. So yes, I sure did. All right, let's talk about the books. I saw you guys kind of talking about this in the chat window a little bit. If you open up the book and you see everything's really highlighted, it can be kind of hard to read. So you can turn those off. If you go to the notes area, it may be defaulted to view private and shared. So you just want to change that to view private, and then that'll allow you to make your own in there. Also, there is kind of a multimedia version of this book where it's got some videos in it. You can't add notes in it, but it's kind of a cool version the way it's laid out. And that link is on the same page where you guys found the link to the Safari books. So, and it's free to use, so feel free to do that as well. So make sure you're paying attention to that. What else do we got? Oh, this is the website that I was talking about. This is where it is, resonate.duarte.com. Okay. Chris, it looks like your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Oh, no, let me put that down.
No problem. All right, so let's keep going. Looks like we're doing pretty good. All right, so we are going to get into the activity blocks, and we're going to kind of move into what we're going to be working on this first week. But before I do that, I am going to talk about all the assignments. Does anybody have any additional questions, like what we've gone over, or maybe something I haven't brought up yet? Any questions? You can put yes or no. Nope, we've got some notes going on. Okay, activity 1.3, we're going to get to that, Nicole. All right, cool. Well, if one comes up, feel free to ask about it. We're going to take them one at a time. So these are the two activity blocks that you guys should be paying attention to first. That getting started one, that area is just some, welcome videos, and that's where the professionalism activity is. So if you haven't completed that, make sure you do that. And then you want to make sure that you're going into the week 1 area. Now, we do have, if you can kind of see, there's 2 columns, the day it opens and then the day and time that it is due on the right-hand side. Now, this may be adjusted for your time zone already, so that can be helpful for you. But I do want to bring to your attention that even though you can't really tell, we do have one activity that there is something, there's 2 due dates. On this discussion board, we're going to be getting to that in just a second. You're going to be asked to do 3 posts. In your first post, we want you to do tomorrow, before midnight tomorrow night. So but by the time I wake up and I'm having my first cup of coffee on Thursday morning, I want to make sure I see your post, or I'm going to be reaching out to you. Okay, so let's talk about each one. You want to make sure that you examine each activity closely. You need to read the words that are on the page, and you need to read the downloads. If there's any downloads for it, you want to look over the rubric file. There might be additional handouts. It's very important to not just assume from what you see on the page that that's all we want you to do. That's just kind of giving you an overview, and the really minute details are in the discussion, are in the actual instruction files. So you want to find those downloads. You also have an area where you turn it in, where you do your completion. This might be a discussion post, or we might ask you to upload a file. If you have created something online, what you can do is just type up the link to it, put it in a document, upload it, or just send where it says feedback. I'm the only person that's going to see that. You could post your link there as well. Okay, so that's where if you have questions about a particular activity, ask me right on that activity, and it'll keep stuff organized. All right, so the first, we're doing the first one tonight, the 1.1. We're in the live session. But these are the chapters. Yes, we do bounce you around a little bit. The first 4 chapters and chapter 7. It is okay if you have already read the whole book. I know we have one student that has done that, jumped right in, so that's awesome. But if you have read 5 and 6, that's okay too. Just make sure that you are reading chapter 7. This is a huge, very, very important chapter. It's talking about the star moments, and I'm going to want you to refer to something in your work this week from some of these chapters. Remember, we said there's no tests in this class. So, how am I going to know that you're doing your reading? Because it's very important that you're taking these theories and putting them into practice. So, I need to be able to see that. So, in some activities, we're going to say, make sure that you include a reference to something that you read, like as in chapter 7, resonate. This speaker did this or that. So make sure that you're using your reading. Okay, so that's why that's there. Once you get through with this, all you have to do is click the mark as completed button and you're done. All right, let's get into our first graded assignment. This is worth 5% of our overall course grade. We're going to get you started with an easy discussion board. We are going to first establish our own baseline. We're going to be talking about our own presentation histories, and then we're going to interact with our classmates about theirs. We're asking you to do a minimum of 3 posts. One has to be your post where you're talking about your own history, and then the 2 reply posts need to be directly made to your classmates about their histories. So if you write a post, someone writes back to you, and then you write back to them, that doesn't count as your reply post because you're talking about yourself. We want you to interact with others about theirs. So make sure you're getting those done. So let's check out the downloads. If you haven't seen this, you should go to the bottom of the activities page, and this is what the first page of the instruction file looks like. So you're just going to kind of read through this. It's going to kind of let you think about what this activity is about. So we have a little introduction for you. And then we have these questions that we want you to answer. This is page 2. So in your first post, I am asking you to describe your level of comfort delivering presentations. And you'll see that there's a sentence in there that says, explain why. That means I want a lot of details. I don't want you to just say, I'm really nervous, and then kind of go on. I want you to channel your inner creative writer. I want you to tell me if you're nervous and you're going to feel like you're going to throw up. I want to know what color it's going to be. I want you to take me with you. I want to feel your pain, or I want to feel your joy. I want you to think about, what would make you feel more at ease. And so really just kind of push yourself to put that out there. Let us know how you feel about it. So that definitely needs to be in your first post. Now, the second part, you can choose, this is also in your first post, but you can choose one of these. Maybe I want you to talk about maybe a specific public speaking experience you had, or maybe one that you used visuals with. Sometimes we use visuals, sometimes we don't. But I want you to talk about, tell me, what was it about? Was it in front of a lot of people? Was it in front of just a few people? What happened? What did you learn from it? Was it with a group of people? Was it by yourself? So really take your audience with you, make us kind of feel like we're there with you, and think back on that. If you don't have an experience really to draw on, think about any time that you tried to convince somebody to do something. Like, did you ever try to get somebody to buy you something, or get your mom or dad to let you do something? That could be something that you did and might have a memory from. So dig deep and find something. Okay, so you're going to do what's in the yellow box and one of the things that's in the blue box, and then make sure you also share the green. Is definitely go. You have to have this in here. I want you to separately identify, knowing what you know so far when you're writing your post, what do you think that you would like to learn from this class, and what one particular thing, just pick out one thing that you think that you need to improve upon in your current presentation skills. So all of
And
this
all that
needs
stuff.
to be in your first post, okay? Now, if you have already made your post and you're like, uh-oh, I didn't do all of this, or I don't think I put enough information, I wasn't detailed enough, you can go back and edit your post. You can edit it all the way through the same, as long as the assignment is open. And all you do is find your post, go to the bottom left-hand corner, and there's the word edit. You click on that, or maybe you didn't capitalize things, or you got a lot of misspelled words. You might want to go and fix that. All right. So this is for your first post, and this is due by tomorrow night before midnight. Okay. So please try to get that done. Excuse me. Now, you have 2 reply posts. And what we want you to do is, as your classmates start sharing their histories, find somebody that you kind of strike a chord with, and maybe you enjoyed their reading about their experiences. And what you're going to do is you're going to give them a response that you're going to try to make that person keep talking with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the RISE model. This is a great way to practice your digital networking. So to let you guys know what the RISE model is, this is a download that is in the bottom of this activity. So if you start at the bottom, the reflect, if you recall something specific that comes from the other person's post, then that lets them know that you paid attention to it, you're interested in what they have to say, and that you might be able to connect with them about the same thing. You reflect on it, right? And then you ask a question that might lead to continued conversation. I want you guys to practice this. So this is the inquire part. I don't care what the question is, just try to ask them a question about, hey, well, did you ever think of this? Or, oh, well, what happened when that happened? Try to get them to come back and answer the question. Then you're going to finish your post with a suggestion for the other person. It's like, well, you might try Velcro shoes if you have a fear of tying your shoes when your shoes coming untied when you speak or something. So, something that's going to help elevate the other person. And you may not have a suggestion for that person, but that's okay. You can always go out, and maybe you have the same problem, and maybe go out there and do a little research. Ask Uncle Google, what would help with sweaty palms, and then you might find that link and go, hey, look what I found, maybe this will help you. I needed the help and I found that. So we're just really asking for you guys to really connect with your classmates in these reply posts, and don't just put 1 or 2 sentences, because that's just not enough effort for you guys to get the benefit out of this direct access you guys have with each other. Okay, so there is a rubric file for this one. This is what it looks like. We're going to follow that exemplary column. You want to make sure you answer all the prompts and questions. You want to have detailed explanations. You want to try to facilitate new discussion by asking your question. And this is how you fall into the exemplary column. All right. So if you go back and read your post, you think, well, maybe I didn't quite do that as much. I might want to add to it. I want you guys to do as well as you can. Okay. So this is the 1.3 presentation history. Does anybody have any questions about this assignment? Joshua, it looks like your hand is up. Joshua, you out there? Any questions? Okay, Joshua, it looks like your hand's up, but I'm not hearing you, so you might want to type your question if you have one. All right, guys. You guys still hear me? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this is there's 2 pages to the rubric file. This is the one about, spelling. You got to make sure you don't have any errors in basic sentence structures and paragraphs and, spelling stuff. So if you're not a good speller, then what you might want to do is, copy your work, put it in like that Grammarly.com. There's free stuff all over the internet that checks your spelling and grammar. All right, so Josh has got a great question. So the post, you want all 3 things in the first post. You are absolutely right. So you want these 3 things. Oops, let's go to this one. So this is number 1. One of these is number 2. And this is number 3. And all of that needs to go in your first post. Okay, so the yellow box, the green box, and 1 from the blue box. Does that answer your question, Joshua? Okay, perfect. No problem. That's your first post. Then remember your second post due by Sunday, your 2 reply posts. You can pick whoever you want. If you guys are noticing that one person is getting all of the attention, you might go on and, try to interact with some other people. So please do that. I encourage you guys to come back to the boards too. Like don't just do all your posts in one day and then never come back. You're going to miss out on some great collaborative learning. It's really a shame if you do that. So try to pop back into the board at least Sunday morning, pop back in and see if anybody, replied to you or asked you a question. All right, so then remember this is the RISE model for your reply post, reflect, inquire, suggest to elevate. Make sure that goes in both. You want to do all 4 aspects in both reply posts to your classmates. All right, cool. And then there's the rubric file. All right, so um, the you might want to also, a lot of people will forget those reply posts, and that's worth 30 points of the whole score. So you might set yourself like a crazy reminder, like on Sunday morning on your phone, like do something like at 10:11, or 10:12, and like, what is this for? I'm like, oh, I got to make sure I get my reply post done. Because it sucks if you lose, because the highest you can get is a D on this assignment if you don't do your post. So don't forget, okay? Someone's going to, but I don't want them to. All right, here we go. All right, so let's keep going. We have one more thing to talk to you guys about. This is the big assignment for this week. It is the 1.4 professional presentation analysis. So just to kind of let you guys know, I want to kind of let you know how the whole course works together. This first week, we are establishing our baseline in our discussion board. We're talking about where we are and where we want to go, what we want to learn. And then we're also taking an opportunity to watch some people who are really good at presentations and learn from them and try to, kind of match up from what we're reading, what Nancy Duarte talks about in what these people are doing. And so what we're going to do is we are going to do an analysis of the speaker's performance. We're not doing a book report. I don't want to know what the presentations are about. We're going to talk about what the presenter did to make us feel a certain way, whether that was positive or negative. How did they keep our attention? What did they do? And these are the things that we're going to start examining. So make sure you check out the instruction file, all right? And I'm going to also show you an example of a previous student's work because I know it's kind of hard to imagine, like, what does she want? So I've got one that I'm going to show you, okay? So make sure you find the instruction file. This is the first page of it. It is a PDF file. You'll need to download it or open it up on your browser and check it out, all right? So this is the first page. You've got to find these questions with the little orange arrows. I want you to answer these questions for each of the TED Talks that you watch. Now, if you're not familiar with TED, you guys are going to love it. This is a really cool website. Let's just see who's out there. Say yes or no if you've ever heard of or seen TED before. So yes or no. Okay, awesome. So a lot of people, awesome. Okay, great. So you guys know how good they are. I mean, they have really practiced. They've been vetted. They have been through many approval processes, and the content that they usually deliver really lands with the audience, and it could be a 5-minute presentation or it could be a 25-minute presentation. It is up to you. You can pick whatever you want. You can use their search engine and maybe find something you think that's related to your industry, or maybe you're just looking in like there's a most popular area, or there might be one that's just on the front page. But anything that you want to pick, it's your choice. I've even had students that pick things that they didn't think that they would be interested in just to see if the speaker was good enough to make them interested in it. And that can be kind of interesting to find out as well. So it's your choice. Please do include the link to the presentation on TED.com, or at least the name of it, because you guys will find some really good ones that I want to go watch. So if you don't tell me what they are, then I can't go find them. So please make sure you include that. But you're going to answer these questions for each one of the TED Talks that you choose. Now, you can use TED.com. There is also TEDx, I believe. You can use that as well. So anything that's related with the TED company is cool with me because what we're doing is we're just analyzing the speakers. So it doesn't really matter where that came from. So if you there when you are creating these, when you're you might take notes as you're going, as you're watching, and then you can type these up. It is up to you how you want to answer these. You can copy the questions and put it in your report and then answer the question right afterwards. Or if you are more of a, just I would just want to kind of write in paragraph style and just, actually answer the questions instead of putting the questions and then the answers, I accept that as well. But I am going to be looking for you guys to talk about each one of these for each TED Talk that you choose. Okay. So these are the questions. Make sure you find this. Okay. So how do you do this? How do you assemble it? And what do I want to see? So we're asking you to create a document. You can do it in any software that you like. I get most of my submissions in Pages or Microsoft Word just because of the amount of text that you're going to be delivering. But I can accept PowerPoint, or if you want to try out that Adobe Spark, it makes some really pretty documents as well. And then you will just send me the link to it. But it has to have some images in it, and we'll talk about what kind of images. So what you're going to do is you're going to do an analysis of each speaker separately, and then you're going to have at least one picture for each analysis. And then at the end, this is step 3, you're going to make a top 10 list. Think about like David Letterman or how the top 10 lists that they do on the late night shows. You're going to have 10 qualities, techniques, or skills that you're going to have in a list. And what you're going to do is you're going to tell me which speaker said it, so you can pick from any of the TED Talks. You're going to tell me what they did, and then you're going to tell me the effect that it had on the audience. So those are the things that you're going to talk about in 10 different skills that are going in your list. And I'm about to show you guys um, uh, uh, an example of what they are, okay? Because you have to give me specific examples. So if you guys will just hold for a second, I am going to freeze my screen so I can get out of my Keynote and get the example up on screen for you. So give me just a second. Excuse me. I had the flu last week and I am so happy to be almost over it. All right, so okay, I am going to let me get this going, and I apologize for how cluttered my background is. It's not pretty. I'm apologizing for it in advance. All right, so here we go. Can everybody tell me that they can see my screen? Can anybody tell me yes? You can see it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what they did is this guy, he did a little introduction. He was just kind of telling me about his experience with TED Talk. That was kind of nice to get us started. And then what he did is he gave me the title of the TED Talks that he picked. Now, his spacing wasn't all that great, but that's okay. I'm not picky about that, and you guys are just learning. So that was the title of it. And then we got to page 2, and he actually had a really cool picture. Now, if you notice, he didn't just put a picture of Sam Cass. He went out and he found a picture that emotionally tied me as the reader and made me want to read more about it. So Sam Cass was talking about, kids learning and feeding them well. And then look, he's got something that kind of looks like a school tray, right? So that was a really nice selection that he did. This is giving him some practice in picking images that emotionally connect that part of your reader's brain, okay? I'm going to fast forward a little just to kind of show you how this works. This was another one he did, Sir Ken Robinson. And look, the picture that he found, it kind of goes with the title, the subject matter of the TED Talk that he chose. All the desks are the same, everything's plain. It really doesn't show a creative environment, does it? So this was also a really excellent choice because he emotionally got me interested in wanting to know about Sir Ken Robinson. And then I think the last one, this one was probably a little bit harder to find, but he found one that kind of went, inspiring action and leaders are innovative. So I thought that was a pretty good job as well. So that's what I'm looking for in your images. Now you can do more than one image per software analysis that you do, but please do more than just like a screenshot of the TED Talk. That shows no creativity, and it really doesn't accomplish your goal of going out and finding images, like on the internet. I'm going to send you guys a message about with some links to finding these really high resolution free copyright free images, so you guys can check that out if you want to start using that as a resource, and I'll send you guys a class message about that, but you'll be able to find some really cool stuff. All right, so that's kind of what your assignment's going to look like, but let's go back up to the top. So he's talking about this particular, kids want to learn them well. Well, he's answering the questions. Now he didn't do it in the question answer format. He just kind of started typing about. But one of the things that he did, if you guys look here, he talks about. He goes. He said. Let's see. His stories were very effective. He ended with a call of action in a question form, which relates back to the steps laid out in Resonate. So see, he has a very nice reference that's easy for me to find, and I know that he has completed his reading because he has reflected. He is recalled something in the from the reading. So make sure you do that. All right. So what he's done is he has written 3 different analyses. His first one, he talked about the performance of the speaker here. Then he did the second one. This is the performance of Sir Ken Robinson. Not necessarily just what he talked about, but his performance, how he delivered it, what it made the person feel. What did they get out of this by watching the video that they couldn't have gotten out of reading an article about it. So go make sure you're using those questions. Then when you're done, remember we talked about the top 10 list. So here's this student's top 10 list. Now he used bullet points, he didn't number them, but he did a really good job of answering all the questions. So he said, Sam Cass started with his background, and he told me it allowed me to look as him as a mentor on the subject at hand. So what that does is it tells me who did it, what they did, and the effect that it had on the audience. And that's what I'm looking for in your top 10 list. Okay, so it's just kind of a review of maybe something that you've said above, but you're assembling it in a organized list at the bottom of your assignment. Okay, so let's get back to where's okay, no, there it is. Let's hit play. So that's what you're going to be creating, and I just showed you the example, and there's a file for this one as well, and you can see how the different points are established for you. Okay, so make sure that your visual components are enhancing the presentation, not just supporting them. Let's find some nice big images and have some fun practicing assembling our work. Okay, so that is what I have for you guys tonight. I am going to ask you now, are there any questions about this last assignment 1.4? Questions? Okay. Well, I don't have any coming from the audience. So if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for joining us tonight via the recording. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I hope that you can join us next week. And if you want to network with other people, just let us know and we will get some class messages going. So thanks for listening and hope to see you next week.